Imagine a world where everyone sleeps at the same time, yet a select few rise silently in the darkness, their hearts beating with longing for Allah. These are the 1%, those who sacrifice comfort for connection, sleep for serenity, and convenience for closeness to the Almighty. Tonight, I want to reveal the secrets of this extraordinary devotion and why it can completely transform your life. By the end of this speech, you will understand why waking up for Tahajjud is not just an act of prayer, but a gateway to unparalleled spiritual success. Tahajjud is more than just a prayer. It is a sacred moment that separates the spiritually devoted from the ordinary. It is the night prayer that the Quran and Sunnah have highlighted as a means to draw closer to Allah. A time when the heart is at its most sincere and the soul is most receptive. The power of Tahajjud lies not in the quantity of words spoken or the duration of prayer, but in the quality of devotion and the purity of intention. It is a prayer offered in the darkness when the world sleeps, when the noise of daily life has faded and the distractions of the day no longer pull at your heart. It is in these quiet, unobserved moments that a servant of Allah finds a unique opportunity to communicate directly with the Creator, to pour out their heart, to seek guidance, forgiveness, and mercy without hesitation or distraction. Those who rise for Tahajjud understand that this is a time when sincere prayers are most likely to be answered. The Prophet Muhammad taught that Allah descends to the lowest heaven during the last third of the night and says, "Is there anyone who seeks my forgiveness that I may forgive him? Is there anyone who asks me that I may give him?" This sacred promise emphasizes that the night is a special time for mercy, forgiveness, and divine attention. The power of Tahajjud is found not just in what is asked, but in the act of showing commitment to Allah, of demonstrating that one values spiritual growth above worldly comforts. It is a declaration that the heart's desire to connect with the Creator is stronger than the pull of sleep, comfort, or laziness. Tahajjud transforms the heart in ways nothing else can. Those who pray at night discover a profound sense of peace and clarity. When the world is asleep and the mind is still, reflection becomes natural. The distractions that cloud the day, worries, work, obligations, and noise, are gone, leaving only the stillness that allows the soul to speak. In this sacred silence, one finds the courage to confront personal shortcomings, the humility to admit mistakes, and the hope to ask for guidance in matters that may seem overwhelming during the busy hours of the day. Each night spent in prayer strengthens character, reinforces faith, and deepens reliance on Allah. Over time, these quiet nights become a source of inner strength, resilience, and confidence that no worldly power can replace. The power of Tahajjud also lies in its transformative effect on life. Those who establish this habit notice a shift in their perspective, a heightened awareness of Allah in daily affairs, and a stronger moral compass. Life's challenges, which once seemed insurmountable, are faced with patience and reliance on divine wisdom. The habit of rising at night trains the soul to prioritize spiritual success over temporary worldly pleasures. It is a reminder that true comfort and fulfillment come not from worldly achievements or possessions, but from the pleasure and closeness of Allah. Tahajjud, in essence, becomes a guiding light, illuminating the path toward personal and spiritual excellence. Furthermore, the act of rising for Tahajjud demonstrates a commitment to personal discipline. It requires overcoming sleep, comfort, and the natural inclinations of the body, which is a form of jihad, a striving in the way of Allah. This discipline does not just improve spiritual life, it carries over into other areas, teaching patience, persistence, and focus. The individual who embraces Tahajjud is marked by a quiet strength, a calm confidence, and a sense of purpose that stands out in a world distracted by fleeting desires. The night prayer, therefore, is both a spiritual act and a personal development tool, molding character while elevating faith. Finally, the power of Tahajjud lies in its reward, both in this world and the next. Those who commit to this prayer find that Allah rewards them in ways that are sometimes unseen but deeply felt. Spiritual peace, guidance in decisions, protection from calamities, and elevation in the hereafter are just a few of the blessings promised to those who dedicate themselves to these sacred hours. The Prophet encouraged his followers to make Tahajjud a habit, describing it as a mark of a true believer, a sign of love for Allah, and a pathway to attaining closeness to Him. The quiet nights spent in devotion become a source of immense power, a power that transforms hearts, strengthens faith, and elevates the soul above the ordinary. In conclusion, the power of Tahajjud is unmatched. It is a prayer of intimacy, a means of spiritual elevation, a test of discipline, and a source of profound peace and guidance. The one who embraces it discovers not only Allah's mercy, but also a strength within themselves that the world cannot provide. To rise for Tahajjud is to choose a life of purpose, devotion, and eternal reward, making the quiet hours of the night some of the most powerful moments a believer can ever experience. Discipline over desire is the defining trait of those who rise for Tahajjud, the 1% who choose devotion when the world chooses sleep. It is easy to follow the natural inclinations of the body, to give in to comfort, to prioritize rest over spiritual elevation. Yet those who embrace Tahajjud understand that true growth, spiritual, moral, and personal, requires effort, sacrifice, and intentional struggle. Every night that one rises while others remain in slumber is a night of triumph over the self, a victory over the desires that chain the soul to mediocrity. The ability to prioritize Allah's pleasure over temporary comforts is what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary, the complacent from the devoted. The struggle of discipline begins with the simple act of awakening. The alarm goes off, the body protests, and the mind searches for excuses. Just a few more minutes of sleep, tomorrow I will pray. But the ones and resist these whispers of laziness. They remind themselves that spiritual success is earned, not given, and that the fleeting comfort of sleep is nothing compared to the eternal reward that awaits those who rise for Allah. This daily struggle is not insignificant. Each time a believer conquers the pull of desire, they reinforce the muscle of willpower, teaching the soul that sacrifice is not punishment, but an investment in a life of purpose and closeness to the Creator. Discipline over desire also shapes character in profound ways. It cultivates patience, for waking in the stillness of the night demands endurance. It nurtures humility, for in those solitary hours, there is no audience, no applause, only the quiet recognition of one's dependence on Allah. It fosters sincerity, for the act is done solely for the sake of pleasing the Almighty, not for recognition or status. Every night spent in the quiet struggle to rise strengthens moral fiber and instills a sense of integrity that radiates into every action, every decision, and every interaction in life. The believer who masters this discipline becomes someone whose commitments are steadfast, whose promises are reliable, and whose faith withstands the trials of the world. The 1% who rise for Tahajjud demonstrate a conscious rejection of immediate gratification in favor of long-term spiritual gain. While society often glorifies comfort, ease, and indulgence, these individuals recognize that true contentment comes not from the world, but from Allah's pleasure. They willingly endure physical discomfort, overcome the inertia of sleep, and face the mental challenge of disrupting a comfortable routine, all to achieve a higher purpose. This discipline is not only a religious act, but a life lesson. One that teaches the value of delayed gratification, self-control, and prioritizing what truly matters over what seems convenient or pleasant in the moment. The power of discipline over desire extends beyond the physical act of waking. It is a mental and spiritual commitment that permeates life. Those who cultivate this habit of self-mastery during the quiet hours of the night are better equipped to face life's challenges with resilience. They are able to resist temptations, make ethical decisions, and remain focused on goals that require effort and patience. The discipline developed in Tahajjud becomes a framework for overall excellence, shaping how one interacts with family, work, and community. It is an invisible strength that influences every aspect of life, turning ordinary routines into purposeful actions and fleeting moments into meaningful progress. Moreover, discipline over desire creates a deep sense of personal empowerment. Every night that a believer chooses prayer over sleep, devotion over distraction, they reinforce the idea that they are not slaves to their impulses. They learn that the heart and body can be trained to align with higher values, that the soul can command the desires of the flesh, and that spiritual growth is not accidental but intentional. This empowerment transforms how one sees the world. Challenges that once seemed insurmountable become opportunities. Obstacles become tests of perseverance, and the self becomes a source of strength rather than weakness. Finally, the 1% understand that the ultimate reward of this discipline is closeness to Allah. Every act of self-restraint, every sacrifice of comfort, is a step toward divine acceptance and mercy. The physical struggle of waking is dwarfed by the spiritual reward, the peace of heart, and the clarity of mind that follow sincere devotion. Tahajjud becomes not just a prayer, but a practice that embodies the essence of discipline, perseverance, and unwavering commitment to spiritual growth. In choosing discipline over desire, the believer not only strengthens their relationship with Allah, but also cultivates a life marked by purpose, resilience, and profound inner strength. In conclusion, discipline over desire is the essence of the 1% who rise for Tahajjud. It is the conscious decision to prioritize what is eternal over what is temporary, the daily triumph over the comfort-driven instincts of the self, and the cultivation of a heart and soul that are prepared for true spiritual elevation. By embracing this discipline, a believer transforms not just the night hours, but their entire life, forging a path of purpose, sincerity, and closeness to Allah that few ever achieve. The essence of Tahajjud lies in its intimacy, in the secret moments of connection between a servant and their Creator. While the world sleeps and distractions fade into silence, the believer finds themselves in a space where the heart can speak freely, where the soul can pour out its longings without fear, hesitation, or pretense. These secret moments are sacred, unparalleled, and transformative. They are the times when a person experiences the true depth of their relationship with Allah, moments that cannot be observed or measured by anyone else, yet their impact is immeasurable. It is in these private acts of devotion that sincerity flourishes, for there is no audience, no need for recognition, only the pure desire to draw closer to the Almighty. Tahajjud creates a unique spiritual environment. The darkness of the night, the stillness of the surroundings, and the calm of solitude combine to create a sanctuary for the soul. It is here that the heart feels safe to express its innermost thoughts, its fears, its gratitude, and its hopes. The 1% who wake for this prayer understand that these moments are a privilege, a rare opportunity to connect deeply with the Creator without interruption. The external world cannot intrude, and the mind is not cluttered by the concerns and distractions that dominate daylight hours. This clarity allows for reflection, for honest self-examination, and for a direct line of communication with Allah. In these secret moments, the believer finds a freedom that is rarely experienced during the day. One can confess mistakes, seek forgiveness, and make personal promises without hesitation. The act of standing in prayer, bowing, or prostrating in the solitude of night is not just a ritual, it is a conversation with the divine. Each whisper, each tear, and each silent plea carries a weight that is felt deeply within the soul. The power of these moments lies not in the external acts themselves, but in the sincerity and intention behind them. It is the personal, unobserved effort that makes Tahajjud so spiritually potent. These quiet hours also become a time for reflection and planning, for aligning one's life with divine guidance. The mind, free from the noise of the world, can contemplate past actions, future goals, and spiritual ambitions. The heart, untouched by the opinions of others, can focus purely on what Allah desires and what the believer aspires to achieve in his eyes. The secret moments of Tahajjud are, in many ways, a mirror for the soul, reflecting weaknesses, strengths, and opportunities for growth. They create a level of self-awareness that is rare, a depth of connection that is profound, and a clarity of purpose that is enduring. Tahajjud is also a time of intense spiritual intimacy, where the believer feels the presence of Allah more acutely. The Prophet Muhammad taught that Allah descends to the lowest heaven in the last third of the night, asking, "Is there anyone who seeks my forgiveness that I may forgive him? Is there anyone who asks that I may give him?" This divine attention during the quietest hours signifies the extraordinary power of these secret moments. The believer who prays at night experiences a sense of being truly seen, truly heard, and deeply loved by their Creator. This intimacy nurtures trust, reliance, and a heartfelt bond that shapes the believer's entire spiritual life. Furthermore, these secret moments of connection are transformative because they cultivate sincerity in ways that daytime prayers may not. When no one else is watching, there is no temptation to perform for appearances, no social pressure, no external validation. Every act, every word, and every sigh of the heart is directed solely toward Allah. This sincerity builds character, fortifies faith, and strengthens the bond between the believer and the Almighty. It teaches that true devotion is not dependent on recognition, but on genuine love and longing for Allah. Finally, the secret moments of Tahajjud create a sense of spiritual empowerment. The believer learns that despite being alone in the dark, they are never truly alone. They experience a closeness to Allah that surpasses worldly connections, a reassurance that their struggles, hopes and prayers matter deeply to their Creator. These private hours instill confidence, inner peace, and resilience. As the believer carries the weight of the world lightly, knowing that their most intimate concerns have been laid before Allah. Over time, these nightly connections shape not just the believer's spiritual life, but also their character, relationships, and approach to challenges in the world. In conclusion, the secret moments of connection during Tahajjud are invaluable. They are a private dialogue with the divine, a time of reflection, sincerity, and spiritual growth. They cultivate closeness to Allah, fortify faith, and transform the believer's heart in profound ways. To embrace these quiet hours is to access a level of intimacy, peace, and guidance that cannot be found anywhere else. The 1% who rise for Tahajjud understand this truth. The night is not merely a time of rest. It is a sacred opportunity for connection, reflection, and transformation. A gift that elevates the soul above the ordinary and brings one closer to eternal success. Night prayers or Tahajjud have the extraordinary ability to transform a person's life in ways that go far beyond the spiritual moment of prayer itself. For those who rise in the stillness of the night, life begins to take on a new meaning, a deeper sense of purpose, and a clarity that daytime distractions often obscure. Tahajjud is not simply an act of devotion, it is a transformative practice that shapes character, strengthens faith, and illuminates the path towards success in both this life and the hereafter. The 1% who embrace this practice discover that these quiet hours become a catalyst for profound personal change, guiding their thoughts, actions, and emotions toward higher ideals and lasting fulfillment. When a person commits to night prayers, they begin to develop a heightened awareness of Allah's presence in their daily life. The quiet reflection, sincere supplication, and intimate dialogue with the Creator instill a mindfulness that extends far beyond the moments of prayer. Actions that may once have seemed mundane take on new significance. Decisions are weighed with care, guided by conscience and divine awareness. This transformation is gradual but powerful, creating a life guided by moral clarity, ethical consistency, and spiritual insight. Individuals find themselves more patient in trials, more compassionate in relationships, and more focused on long-term goals rather than fleeting pleasures. Night prayers act as a filter through which the believer perceives the world differently. Calm, purposeful, and aligned with Allah's guidance. Tahajjud also strengthens resilience and perseverance. Life is filled with challenges, uncertainties, and moments that test faith and determination. Those who rise in the night develop a habit of discipline and commitment that directly carries over into their daily lives. The act of sacrificing sleep for devotion trains the mind and body to endure discomfort, overcome laziness, and prioritize what truly matters. This resilience is not limited to spiritual matters, but extends to personal and professional challenges. A person who regularly engages in night prayers learns to face obstacles with courage, patience, and strategic thinking, knowing that endurance and steadfastness are keys to both worldly success and divine reward. Moreover, Tahajjud provides clarity in decision-making and purpose in life. The stillness of the night allows the mind to reflect without distraction and the heart to speak without hesitation. Many who pray at night report experiencing moments of insight, inspiration, and guidance that shape their choices and direction in life. The private dialogue with Allah becomes a source of wisdom, helping to navigate complex situations, resolve inner conflicts, and align personal ambitions with divine will. In this way, night prayers are not only a spiritual practice, but a practical tool for transforming one's life, enabling the believer to approach every day with focus, intention, and confidence. The emotional and psychological benefits of Tahajjud are equally profound. In the solitude of night, individuals can release burdens, express gratitude, and seek forgiveness, leading to a sense of peace and emotional balance. The stress, anxiety, and uncertainties of life are mitigated by the intimate connection with Allah, who listens and responds to the sincere cries of the heart. This emotional clarity transforms how a person interacts with others, responds to challenges, and experiences joy. The inner tranquility cultivated through night prayers radiates outward, positively influencing relationships, work, and community engagement. The 1% who make Tahajjud a habit often exhibit a calm confidence, empathy, and humility that distinguish them from others. Tahajjud also shapes one's spiritual trajectory, reinforcing faith and strengthening the bond with Allah. Consistency in night prayers fosters a sense of accountability and devotion that permeates every aspect of life. The believer begins to internalize the values of sincerity, patience, humility, and reliance on Allah. These qualities gradually redefine personal identity, priorities, and lifestyle choices. Spiritual transformation through Tahajjud creates a life where decisions, relationships, and daily routines are aligned with divine guidance, leading to holistic growth and sustained success. Finally, the transformative power of Tahajjud lies in its long-term rewards. The small sacrifices made in the stillness of night yield immense spiritual, emotional, and personal benefits. Over time, a life shaped by night prayers becomes one of purpose, clarity, and inner strength. The believer who commits to this practice experiences a profound shift, not because the world changes, but because the individual has been transformed. Their actions, thoughts, and heart are elevated, creating a life marked by balance, discipline, and alignment with divine will. Tahajjud is, therefore, a key to unlocking potential, guiding the believer toward a life that is spiritually rich, emotionally stable, and purposefully directed. In conclusion, night prayers are a transformative force in the life of a believer. They shape character, strengthen faith, instill resilience, provide clarity, and cultivate peace of heart. The 1% who rise for Tahajjud experience life in a fundamentally different way, with purpose, intention, and connection to Allah guiding every moment. By committing to these quiet hours, one not only nurtures the soul, but also elevates their entire existence, creating a life that reflects divine guidance, inner strength, and lasting fulfillment. Tahajjud is not just a prayer, it is a life-changing practice that transforms ordinary living into extraordinary devotion and meaningful achievement. The rewards of Tahajjud are immense, profound, and truly beyond measure. This night prayer is not merely a ritual, it is a divine opportunity, a gateway to blessings in this life and the hereafter that few other acts can match. Those who rise in the stillness of the night to pray, to seek forgiveness, to ask for guidance, and to express gratitude are promised rewards that surpass worldly understanding. The 1% who embrace this practice discover that every sleepless hour, every whisper of the heart, and every prostration is counted, cherished, and multiplied in the sight of Allah. The rewards are not always visible or immediate, yet their impact is transformative, shaping a life of purpose, spiritual elevation, and eternal success. One of the most profound aspects of these rewards is the closeness to Allah that Tahajjud cultivates. During the last third of the night, Allah descends to the lowest heaven, calling out to His servants, inviting them to seek His forgiveness, mercy, and guidance. This unique opportunity to connect with the Creator elevates the believer's spiritual status in ways that no other act can achieve. The one who prays at night experiences an intimate relationship with Allah, a sense of being seen, heard, and cherished by the Almighty. This closeness transforms the heart, instills peace, and reinforces faith, creating a foundation upon which all other blessings can flourish. It is a reward that goes beyond material wealth or worldly recognition, touching the soul in its deepest essence. Tahajjud also brings extraordinary rewards in terms of guidance and clarity in life. The quiet, reflective hours of night prayer provide a unique environment for the heart to speak and for divine guidance to be received. Decisions that once seemed overwhelming become clear, solutions to problems are illuminated, and life's path becomes more purposeful. The believer who prays at night gains insight that can guide relationships, career choices, moral decisions, and personal development. These rewards are both spiritual and practical, affecting every aspect of daily life. The transformative guidance that comes from Tahajjud equips the believer to navigate the world with wisdom, patience, and conviction. Forgiveness of sins is another unparalleled reward promised to those who rise for Tahajjud. In the stillness of the night, when the heart is sincere and the soul humbly seeks repentance, Allah's mercy descends. Past mistakes, misdeeds, and shortcomings are forgiven for those who turn to Him sincerely, creating a spiritual renewal that rejuvenates the heart and mind. This purification of the soul is a reward beyond measure, as it cleanses the individual from the burdens of guilt and allows them to move forward with a renewed sense of purpose, commitment, and closeness to Allah. The forgiveness gained through Tahajjud strengthens faith, nurtures hope, and provides a profound sense of relief and peace that worldly comforts cannot offer. The rewards of Tahajjud are not confined to the spiritual realm alone, they extend to the material and psychological aspects of life. Those who rise in the night often experience inner tranquility, emotional stability, and mental clarity that enhance their daily interactions and productivity. The discipline of waking and the devotion expressed during these hours strengthen resilience, patience, and self-control. Challenges and hardships are faced with a calmer mind, steadier heart, and unwavering reliance on Allah. The benefits of Tahajjud ripple outward, improving personal character, relationships, and overall well-being. This holistic transformation demonstrates that the rewards of night prayers are not only eternal, but also profoundly practical in shaping a balanced, purposeful, and fulfilling life. Finally, the ultimate reward of Tahajjud is the eternal success and nearness to Allah in the hereafter. The one who remains consistent in night prayers is promised a high station in paradise, a life of eternal bliss, and the pleasure of the Almighty. The sacrifices made in the darkness of night, sacrifices of comfort, sleep, and ease, are investments in an eternal reward far greater than anything the world can offer. These rewards emphasize that Tahajjud is not only a means of spiritual elevation in this life, but a profound preparation for everlasting success, security, and honor in the life to come. The 1% who rise for Tahajjud understand this truth: their devotion is priceless, their reward immense, and their connection to Allah unbreakable. In conclusion, the rewards of Tahajjud are beyond comprehension. They encompass spiritual closeness, guidance, forgiveness, emotional tranquility, personal growth, and eternal success. Every moment spent in devotion, every whispered prayer, and every act of discipline is recognized, multiplied, and cherished by Allah. The 1% who embrace this practice discover a life enriched with blessings, fortified with strength, and guided by divine wisdom. Tahajjud is not merely a prayer, it is a treasure trove of immeasurable rewards, a secret key to eternal success, and a path to profound transformation in every aspect of life. Those who rise in these sacred hours gain not only the pleasure of Allah, but also a life of meaning, purpose, and unparalleled blessing. The 1% who rise for Tahajjud serve as a living inspiration, a shining example of what it means to rise above the ordinary and embrace a life of devotion, discipline, and purpose. In a world where mediocrity is often accepted and comfort is prioritized over spiritual growth, these individuals stand apart. They are the ones who choose to wake while the rest of the world sleeps, to devote themselves to Allah when distractions are at their peak, and to sacrifice temporary ease for eternal gain. Their example teaches us that true excellence, spiritual, personal, and moral, is not attained by following the crowd, but by consciously choosing a higher path, even when it requires effort, struggle, and self-denial. This inspiration to rise above the ordinary is not limited to the act of Tahajjud alone. It reflects a mindset and a way of life that elevates every decision, every action, and every moment toward higher ideals. Rising for Tahajjud requires courage, discipline, and determination, qualities that define those who seek to be extraordinary. It is easy to remain in bed, to succumb to comfort, and to follow the rhythm of a world that prioritizes convenience over devotion. But those who choose Tahajjud reject this path. They understand that spiritual elevation is not given freely, It must be earned through consistent effort, unwavering commitment, and a willingness to go beyond what is easy or ordinary. Each night that they rise, they demonstrate that self-discipline is a form of empowerment, a conscious choice to control the desires of the body rather than being controlled by them. This mindset inspires others to reconsider their own priorities, to recognize the value of sacrifice, and to seek higher goals in life that align with purpose, faith, and long-term success. The example set by these individuals is transformative because it challenges societal norms. In a world where people often measure success by material wealth, social recognition, or fleeting pleasures, the 1% who rise for Tahajjud redefine what it means to live a meaningful life. They show that true success is measured not by what is seen by others, but by what is cultivated within the heart and soul. Their dedication reminds us that the ordinary life, comfortable, undisciplined, and distracted, is not the only option. There is a higher path, one that requires effort, humility, and perseverance, but which leads to unparalleled reward, inner peace, and closeness to Allah. This inspiration encourages all who witness or learn of their example to strive for more than just routine existence, to pursue excellence that is deeply rooted in spiritual and moral integrity. Furthermore, the act of rising for Tahajjud instills a profound sense of purpose and direction. When one consistently chooses to engage in night prayers, life begins to reflect a higher standard. Decisions are guided by reflection and divine consciousness, actions are tempered by sincerity, and ambitions are aligned with values that transcend the temporary nature of worldly pursuits. This disciplined devotion becomes a framework for personal growth, shaping character, enhancing resilience, and cultivating wisdom. Observing this commitment in others can awaken a desire within us to rise above mediocrity, to challenge ourselves, and to live a life of intention rather than mere habit. The 1% demonstrate that ordinary lives are not predetermined. They can be transformed through conscious, consistent effort aimed at spiritual and personal excellence. The inspiration from these individuals also lies in their perseverance in the face of difficulty. Rising for Tahajjud is not easy. It requires battling the natural inclinations of the body, resisting fatigue, and prioritizing the eternal over the temporary. Yet, these individuals consistently overcome these challenges, showing that the path to greatness, spiritual or otherwise, is forged through persistence and resilience. Their example teaches that obstacles are not reasons to surrender, but opportunities to rise, to grow, and to strengthen one's relationship with Allah. It inspires others to see challenges as stepping stones rather than barriers, and to cultivate a mindset that seeks growth even in the face of adversity. Finally, the 1% inspire not just through their actions but through the results of their devotion. Their lives become a testimony to the power of discipline, sincerity, and unwavering faith. They exhibit inner peace, clarity, purpose, and resilience that are rare among those who follow the ordinary path. Their spiritual and personal transformation serves as a beacon for others, demonstrating that ordinary beginnings do not limit extraordinary outcomes. By following their example, others are motivated to embrace habits, sacrifices, and disciplines that elevate their own lives, fostering a culture of devotion, excellence, and aspiration that transcends the mundane. In conclusion, the inspiration to rise above the ordinary comes from those who choose the path less traveled. The 1% who wake for Tahajjud. Their courage, discipline, and unwavering devotion illuminate a higher standard of living, showing that spiritual and personal excellence is possible through conscious effort and consistent sacrifice. They redefine success, challenge mediocrity, and inspire others to pursue purpose, discipline, and closeness to Allah. By observing their example, we are reminded that the ordinary is not inevitable. Extraordinary lives are built through intentional devotion, persistence, and the courage to rise above comfort, distractions, and complacency. Tahajjud is so. Let this be your reminder: true spiritual success is not for the majority. It is for the 1% who rise in the night, hearts open and souls awake, seeking Allah's pleasure. Let us strive to be among them, to taste the peace and power of Tahajjud, and to elevate our lives beyond the ordinary. After all, the night is long, but the reward is eternal. Not only a prayer, it is a call to rise above the ordinary and embrace a life of meaning, excellence and divine closeness.